Kristen rips the Band-Aid right off in the best way possible. DGPT issues some season awards and all-star rosters, ticket prices become a hot topic, and still some more this week in disc golf. What's good, all you disc-generates, and salutations out to the newbies. I'm your host, best known as Swiss Cheese because of all the holes in my game and just one half of the disc golf world. You guys should know us by now, because we're the ones that always overshare during the off-season, just to allow each and every one of you guys to debate whether or not it's true, only for it to be completely forgotten about over time, or even worse, convince yourself you've known about it all along once our vindication finally drops. But hey, I'm not complaining, because at least we're talking about disc golf instead of mystery boxes. And if mystery boxes really are your thing, then you're going to want to make sure to snag your tickets now, today, this Friday, for Disc East presented by Paragon and Wade by Marshall Street. This upcoming year, January 24th and 25th to be exact. Out in Marlborough, but it's probably pronounced something completely differently because it's in Massachusetts, will be the home for 2 days where the sport's top manufacturers, brands, more discs than you believe you need, creators, and even pros will be under one roof. Make a trip of it, get to planning, and head over to discgolfexpos.com to land your tickets now. You're watching This Week in Disc Golf, and you guys know I'm gonna lead with that Kristen interview, right? Because not only is that vid doing numbers, but another reason was the fact that there's nothing Campbell's about it, as Kristen's sincerity and openness was as real as it could come, and an absolute hit among viewers. Now, did we learn any new details or in-depth revelations? No, not really. Only thing new was her liking strawberries and cream, but who really doesn't? And then there was her double tap and anyone still holding out hope for a return to the tour next year.
I think disc golf still has a special place in my heart, probably in my daily activities as well. I don't plan on being a professional athlete next season, but I do think about stepping into other roles and contributing in another way, organizing some events, doing some clinics. I do feel I want to put in my effort in growing the sport and spreading the love of disc golf.
And sure, it's not a crime, but losing her talent on tour sure feels like one. And that's despite learning the good news of her being happy with the decision and plans on staying involved in disc golf. All great things for the sport. And look, she did reference it as a pause, so there's that, I guess. So you hold on tight. And though the video didn't deliver the full details of Kristen's situation that many were hoping for, it's not to say that Latitude 64 and Jonathan didn't deliver more than a stellar Royal Box plug either. I feel the video did a great job to display their continued relationship with Kristen through the support of this decision. A win for the House of Disc brand. Even if Latitude or House of Disc didn't have much of a choice but to support if they wanted any future success in attracting new talent or not to anger their base any further for that matter. But they provided a solid production and a relaxed interview that decompressed the moment with winter mulligans and allowed not only Kristen, but especially her story to shine. Starting with what led to the decision, the one that dominated the bulk of most of the talk during the season and into this offseason also. And if you don't believe me, just ask the guys over on The Upshot who placed it as their top storyline on the year prior to the release of this video. And Kristen was able to share a glimpse, albeit a small one, into what led and started her difficult season.
I received some shocking news and it was very hard to cope with that. I tried to push forward and push through everything because of that, I don't know, athlete mentality maybe. And at one point I understood that I maybe pushed myself a little bit too far, and it's beautiful to realize what's the right choice or what to listen in this sort of situation. And I leaned on I guess I can say my happiness.
From there, having to not only deal with injury, but now the anxiety on the season gave reason for the pause for Kristen. But still, a difficult decision that displays Kristen's courage in this moment. To not only choose her own happiness and being true to oneself, and it being more important than success out on the course, is really impressive. Courage that for most of us are unable to do in our own lifetime. But to do it while being at the pinnacle of the sport also takes even more bravery that the haters don't want to acknowledge, even if it's just tossing some plastic.
I know that it's okay, and I know that there are a lot of fans out there who have seen me on the screen and they just know me this one certain way.
Yeah.
So it's maybe a lot to take in if that picture changes a little. But ultimately, I know that everybody understands that life is a little bit bigger than the one thing you do or your career. Yeah. But that's okay. It's exciting.
And maybe that message provides enough clarity for a situation that is far more nuanced than we want to make it. No, it didn't silence all the critics and quitter comments, but it helped. And I'm excited to see what heights both of the Latts, for that matter, can take disc golf in their next chapter, even if I'm selfishly hoping it's just a short one like the rest of us. Because the thought of what could have been will always be on the minds of many disc golfers if this pause has any longevity. But let's hear from you guys in the comments below. I want to hear your thoughts on the Latitude vid and whether it was a success or not. And sure, that Kristen news dwarfed pretty much all the rest of the topics of the week. But we also had the DGPT dropping some awards, but evidently not the prices of their tickets. But we're still going to get to that one later. First, let's get to the Rookie of the Year award, which was far more contested in the FPO, as favorite Rasmus Sakaripi won in the MPO. But it was Rebecca Don who was able to edge out Ida Lehtomäki's world's breakthrough performance to land Rookie of the Year in the FPO. And though this might have been the biggest upset of the awards release, or at least the one with the most vocal backlash, Don's numbers still speak for themselves over the entire tour. Good news for the sport is both have a long future ahead of themselves. And since we're on the topic of upsets, let's talk about Paul Cran's late season heroics and fan base helped him edge out bigger name pros under the category in Sully Tipton and Ezra Robinson, who even got a dub for that matter. Can't be too upset with that Cran's playoff run late though. Helped him not only get into the championship, but score this award also. And with it being the most recent, certainly didn't hurt either. And while over in the FPO, it was no shock that Cadence Burge, with a victory and top 10 numbers, landed her the most improved over in the ladies division. Paul McBeth adds to his trophy case with not one, but 2 awards. The first being a Comeback Player Award after a return to the top of the podium, while another GOAT in Paige Pierce won on the FPO side, with not only a win on the season, but a climb up the rankings list also. The Community Award, issued by the pros, had McBeth winning for the second year in a row, as his foundations leading the entire sport, let alone the DGPT. And on the FPO side, Ella Hansen, who besides building homes for the needy during the offseason, focuses on growing the sport through both women's and children's clinics and its promotion. And along with those awards was also the All-Star lineup. Now, the DGPT is still holding on to the postseason All-Star event that they posted about last year, a shift from the start of the season with an opening weekend invitational, instead focusing on a range of benefits over the entire season in tour promotions and retail products, along with a mixed double showcase at the start of the season. The players were tiered off after the top 4 point earners in each division landed first card status. The remaining cards were based on both media and fan voting, joining Holland Hanley, Missy Gannon, Silva Sarnen, and Owen Scoggins. On second card, you have Paige Pierce, a young talent in Cadence Burge, still a fan favorite in Kat Murch, and Evelina Salonen. While third card has other Elite Series winners in Valerie Mandahanu and Ella Hansen. Anakin Steen is still popular, and Rebecca Cox round out the final card after a solid 25 campaign. On the MPO, first card has absolute powerhouses, which include Gannon Burr, Calvin Heimberg, Isaac Robinson, and Paul McBeth. But the second card has no slouches either. It contains AB with now a major under his belt. Ricky Wysocki still near the top of the game despite not getting a win last year. You got Ezra Robinson's breakout, who earns even higher praise for a budding star. And Nicholas Antala right where he should be. Wouldn't be an all-star event without Simon Lizotte, and hopefully an all-star appearance might help bring some additional dollars to Ezra Aderhold, Cole Redolin, and Aaron Gossage pocketbooks while they are out looking to sign this offseason. and we'll just have to wait and see what exactly is planned at the end of the year and how successful it can be, as finding traction for any event after USDGC has been difficult for multiple seasons now. But maybe a relaxed all-star event with a refreshed format could be the change that's needed. With tickets being placed on sale this week, the debate on pricing and value quickly followed. One specifically is home to the doubles event, The Preserve, where a fan and an attendee complained about the ticket prices being double the price from last year. From that point, there was everything from paywall accusations to price gouging and others who felt the pricing was fair. Now, this is the fine line that the tour has to walk on, with ever-growing price tags of just managing the logistics of a tour and filming it. And that's not including the desire to turn a profit, though it hasn't as of yet, better purses for the pros, and expanding the perceived value of a legit tour organization. Most of us would expect an increase in ticket pricing after its recent doubles announcement, and followed buzz right after. And if we're being honest, the general admission price is not that painful for a one-day stop or a first-time visit. But I understand for the return ticket buyers who attend every day and understand the value of VIP passes and the access that those tickets bring, certainly only made worse depending on the track. It's the value of those that can begin to come into question. And that's all we're seeing here. The VIP price tag for those events and its popularity has its value weighed constantly, needing to provide a special viewing experience and added amenities. And look, any ticket price valuation will offend somebody, and we really don't know what the doubles event will bring in popularity or viewership. But what we already do know is it will most certainly turn out even more fans at an already popular stop, with or without that damn duck. And it's that demand alone that will increase the ticket's value. And if the increase in price tickets brings up the value, or the product is improved whatsoever with its changes, then all this chatter about ticket prices simply disappears until it goes up again the following year. Now, some other news before quick hitters. Nate Sexton signs a 3-year extension to be Innova's captain and Firebird Hawker. Not a surprise signing, but worthy of its pre-January 1st release, especially following the German Climo departures last year. MVP and Essential Disc make nice coming to a mutual agreement on the balanced naming rights. You may have forgotten the once tense legal back and forth the two had earlier this year, putting that completely aside with this latest agreement that benefits both parties. Jesse Longnecker, defending collegiate champion, will not be competing at nationals, instead studying abroad in Indonesia. Pretty sick, even if it does hurt the collegiate game. Since we missed a video last week, I got a number of quick hitters I just have to cover. First and foremost, we gotta celebrate. There were engagements as Finnish heartthrob Nicholas Antala is now off the market. And there were a number of weddings, 3 in fact, as Alden Harris, Kevin Jones, Enda Prez, and Andrew Presnell all tied the knot. And don't get me wrong, the fellows looked great, but the brides all looked spectacular. And I'm not done there. German family are expecting, while Lucky Lorenzen had much more to be thankful for this holiday season. Matteo had a birthday, and disc golf brand and course owner extraordinaire Dylan Cease signed a fat $210 million deal with the Blue Jays. Congratulations goes out to each and every one of you and all of yours. Thanksgiving saw different holiday celebration, whether it was a parade like the Presnells, turkey trots like Brody, Sully, and the entire Taylor family. There were desserts like Kona Montgomery and Emily Weatherman, backyard football, and Holland lifting a whole different set of plates. You had some pros taking some football games, both college and pro, Gannon and Madison Walker taking to the collegiate side, or NFL games like Missy, who saw her first, and Paige, who is right off the end zone. While Gavin Babcock might have been the realist with an ISU wrestling duel, while the boys just decided to grab a round on the links. Silas has an Arizona plug, and I'm talking the drinks, not the state AB and the boys are at. Yakub is still fishing, Hamas is back in a new Jeep, and Paul is gonna have to install a slide at Olympus now. Aderhold has been trying really hard for the bad boy Graham appeal, but completely ruined it with a pumpkin hot chocolate. The Carlsons play some table tennis, while Will Schustrick and Jay Milley land on feature card while they're over in Puerto Rico. Something I'm sure Jefferson will be covering on Monday. And guys, that wraps up this week in disc golf. Shout out to those of you on the Patreon and all of you who have stayed this long for me to thank. And like always, if you've enjoyed and not subscribed, make sure to do so. And if you haven't already, hit that like button, comment, and share.